year with a new fact of the week. And nobody beats the Wiz later in the hour in the NFL picks. So much more in the next 2 hours or more live here on the SLG Network Sports with Rich. And first, let's welcome in my young protege. There he is, the Wiz, Robert Rizzo. Happy New Year, my friend.
Happy New Year. We're back. Another year, Sports with the Rich on the SLG Network. I'm glad to be back doing our weekly edition show, talking sports. But like always, I'm energetic as heck starting the new year, 2023. Let's get it.
How were your holidays, Wiz?
They were great. Spent a lot of time with family, friends I didn't see for a while, but it was a great time as always catching up with everybody, but always a good time during the holiday season.
Yeah, and I was able to see you once, just once. I haven't seen you in 5 weeks. We did spend some time up at Fordham University and afterwards, a little before too, last week. We'll get into that Fordham game later, A10 conference. And, well, let's get this started. And on a sad note, everyone knows, and, we've been feeling it all day. Not only us, the entire world, country, the whole world. And you know what I'm talking about. The Damar Hamlin, the Bills safety. And we all watch it unfold live on ESPN last night. Because Bills and Bengals, a key game in the NFL to determine the number one seed in the AFC. And who really cares about that right now? Game was canceled, and we don't know when they're going to make it up. Right now, our thoughts and prayers remain with Damar Hamlin, his family, all his friends, the Bills, the Bengals, the entire NFL community. Wiz, I have witnessed some of these things in my career, and I'm going to bring up a point that wrestling fans will remember in the 90s on a WWF, then WWF pay-per-view event, live as it unfolded. And the late Owen Hart was coming down from the rafters in a harness, and things just went bad. And he died on impact in the middle of the ring. Now, that's a pro wrestling situation. It's scripted. It wasn't supposed, obviously. It was tragic. Mm-hmm. However, the WWF decided to stick with it and go on with the show. This was an entirely different case last night unfolding on national television on ESPN. And I think ESPN did a tremendous job, and I commend them the way they handled the entire situation. They improvised and they explained things to the best of their ability. The NFL later would say they never intended to resume this game, which was the proper move. Thoughts and prayers at that point, and still are, with Damar Hamlin, a 24-year-old talented football player who became the starter for an injured player, and now he's fighting for his life. His vitals are good. That's the latest report, just even moments ago, in a hospital in Cincinnati. And now it's just a matter of when or days, and if he will have it comes out of this, and we pray and hope he does. And if all of his capacities to live a normal life will resume, that we just have to take this step by step. But I don't know you about Wiz, but I know how I feel. I've been feeling this since this last night. And to see it unfold live on a national telecast in the NFL, dark eye for the NFL, maybe, maybe not. They've had situations before, not like this. Concussion protocols in particular, recently with Tua all season long with the Dolphins at quarterback. However, this was different because a life was being trying to be saved on the gridiron last night, and it brings up questions about. You heard this all day too. Safety of NFL players and the game of football. Look, I'm a boxing guy. No sport is more dangerous than boxing, as you know, is. And I've witnessed incidents at ringside where I've seen fighters fall down and been rushed to the hospital and been in comas for days. Some have come out of it, and some haven't. So but this is unprecedented for the NFL, and we really don't know if there was a pre-existing medical condition as far as we can determine with Damar Hamlin. So all I can say is thoughts and prayers, and who cares about the game right now to resume and play it?
That's what I wanted to start off with. Who cares about the game right now? last night it wasn't about the sports world. It wasn't about a football game. It was about a human life, a family member, someone's son out there, someone's grandson, and at the end of the day, someone's friend, teammates. All the coaches were gathered together praying. We have a photo of that. We showed it before. But again, a 24-year-old enjoying what he does, and it's his passion. He's just enjoying the sport, enjoying football, and for him to go down like that, prayers and thoughts to the family, prayers and thoughts to him. Hope he gets out okay. He's in critical condition right now, suffering the cardiac arrest, and it just shows you how much the sports world can come together as one. And donations throughout the last 48 hours, last 24 hours for Damar Hamlin's toy drive that he started in 2020. Fans across the world donating their own personal money. Over 3.7 million since this happened has been raised to his toy drive. So kudos to all the sports fans out there. Kudos to the NFL and their emergency staff out there that evacuated right then and there, knew what to do. That changed a human's life right there. So kudos to the NFL and prayers and thoughts to the family of Damar Hamlin.
And it came, the incident just happened so fast, was so rapidly. It came off a tackle, which is a part of the game. Maybe the impact to his chest cap, we just don't know, and that's for the doctors to determine. I can't say that football is a sport that's not safe. They have every necessary precaution in the NFL to assure the safety of their players, coming anywhere from the equipment to the medical personnel that are all, and that saved this young man's life. They said he was revived. They revived him on the field and revived him in the hospital. So kudos to all the medics and personnel and staff that the NFL provides at all the games and on the sidelines. Right now is we continue to pray, our thoughts and prayers for Damar Hamlin and his family, as well as mother's there at his bedside. And I could only know what she's going through right now. So we hope for good news to come out of this. As far as the game again, right now, who cares? In fact, the NFL hasn't even thought about, do we play this game or not? You have a theory on that anyway, not that we really want to talk about it, but that's been a question on my social media in the last 24 hours. What is your theory on how they would possibly play this game? Not that anybody really cares right now, but let's face it, it's a major game on the NFL schedule to end the season with the playoff implications for home field.
This was a major game. This was a major game 4 weeks ago. A lot of people had it circled on the calendar, and like you said, no one wants to talk about the game right now, playoff implications, but we have to get into it. And right now, I believe it's either going to get determined a no contest or a tie. Honestly, the best option out there is, if the playoff implications come to, they have to play week 19, the Bengals and the Bills. But hopefully that doesn't come down to it and they just get it done. And the Bengals and Bills have 16 games played when all the rest of the NFL teams have 17, because at the end of the day, no one could have predicted this. This was drastic measures. No one could have saw this coming. So if it's 16 games versus 17 games, who cares? Someone's life is in jeopardy right now.
Exactly. That's the overall sentiment, by the way, Wiz. All right. Let's move on to a recap of the NFL week 17, or was it 18? 17, right, Wiz?
Week 17.
We'll take a look at the Packers Alliance, Seattle alive in that NFL wild card hunt. The Packers are in with their win, and Seattle, if Seattle wins, then the Lions are out. They've been a hot team. The Rams win. The winners of the Lions-Packers game will decide the number 7 seed in the NFC. The Lions have won 7 of their last 9, and those Steelers are also a hot team with an outside shot. Still, they got to win, and they're in again, which is amazing turnaround for the Steelers.
Major turnaround for the Steelers. Kenny Pickett, Mike Tomlin at the helm, leading it year by year. It seems like since 2000, early 2000s, he has his team in playoff contention every season. It doesn't matter if it's 8-8, 7-9, 12-4, he gets it done. And for Mike Tomlin, he's a top 10 coach. And as much as people argue he should be fired this season, that season, one of the top 10 coaches across the NFL.
All right, let's look at this team at a New York Jersey. I call them the Jersey Giants because they play in Jersey. Everyone knows I say that. But the Giants back in the playoffs, first time since 2016. Congratulations. There's a reason. That coach, Brian. Yep, yeah, it was first time since 2016, and Daniel Jones has become an outstanding quarterback in the NFL. Finally,
He
he's done it.
he
You can't
he
complain about him.
He proved it this year. Going into August, many had him slated as a backup quarterback a season later, but hey, he clinched his first playoff berth just like that. Giants winning over the Colts 38-10, taking on the Eagles next week just to solidify the regular season. But Daniel Jones, he's doing what he has to do. Six passing touchdowns, one interception in his last 6 games. That's going to win you some games as a quarterback. Any game system quarterback, an elite quarterback, six touchdowns compared to one interception, that's winning football right there.
Talked to some NFL personnel in the last few days, and they were attributing a lot of this success for Daniel Jones and this Giants team to the coach, the new coaching regime. What do you think about that?
Definitely. Brian Dable and the coaching regime, they've had an impact from the beginning. Defense, special teams, offense, they don't get penalized that much, so that just shows how aware the team is as a unit. And that shows and reflects on the coaching, what they do week in and week out in practice and preparing for these games.
So we'll see where the Giants end up as a seeding. We'll talk about that later on as we'll do NFL picks, and I'm going to be joining that this week with you, Rizz. Our producer Avery said he's got to take off on that from this week over there in Wisconsin, and Avery will just listen in as you'll lead that. You're the NFL pick guy here. The Wiz, Robert Rizzo, my young protege on Sports with Rich. By the way, scrolling at the bottom of the screen, you'll hear it from me all week. If you're tuning in for the first time, or you know already, I can be reached at Ring786 at Twitter, Facebook.com, Rich Mancuso, among my social media platforms. Also at LatinoSports.com, NewYorkSportsA.com, a few of these outlets I write for. And Wiz, where do they reach you again, my friend?
Follow me on Twitter, RobertRizz994, Instagram, RRizzo4, Facebook, Robert Rizzo, and catch all my daily content on Latino Sports.
Great job of writing, too, during the holiday break.
Thank you.
Especially with the new free agent signings in baseball. We'll talk about that in a moment. Let's look at the Jets. We continue the NFL discussion and the quarterback situation. To me, a major reason why this team is not going to the postseason with their drought. They continue this drought. And look at this grip. I want to put this up. Let's put this up. Since 2000 with Jet quarterbacks. Most wins with Jets quarterbacks since 2000. And you see, look at how many there have been. And then that pile is Geno Smith, comeback player of the year to me in the NFL as a quarterback for the Seahawks, leading them possibly in the playoffs. But Zach Wilson is in there, and that's a problem with Zach Wilson. He just can't do it. Naniker is backup White. And look at Mark Sanchez on top with 33 wins. The problem with the Jets and this franchise over the years is reflected right there with no stability with the quarterback. They can get first-round picks. They can't do it. They can't stay there. And again, they got to go quarterback hunting. They're young. They're talented. They made a run. They had a great start. But quarterback is so important to your team, and the Jets just can't find that answer.
Year by year, that's the Jets' question. Who's playing quarterback? Is he playing efficient enough? And year by year, we get the same answer. Zach Wilson wasn't it. Mike White wasn't it. And Joe Flacco wasn't it. And for Mike White, he looked like an average backup quarterback in Seattle. It was a playoff type game on the road. And he did what most of the people thought he would do, be that backup quarterback. And for quarterbacks overall with the Jets, that was their kryptonite all season. If they were sparking, the whole team was winning. They had 15 passing touchdowns as a quarterback room this season. One was from Braxton Berrios, a wide receiver. So just like that, make it 14 on those quarterbacks. Coaching can only take you so far. It comes down to performance. It only comes down to performance at that point.
And I don't think it's Robert Salo's fault, the coach. I don't think fans are looking to chop his head off. It's not. They don't have a quarterback. That's what it is. And I don't know what they're going to do with that. That remains to be determined. Look at Justin Jefferson now striking an official in the Vikings game. He hits a ref in the back of the helmet. What was behind this? As the Packers got their fourth straight win and the Vikings at 12-4. It's once you thought they may be fighting for the top seed in the NFC, that doesn't look like it's going to happen. What happened to Justin Jefferson here in the official? Because I missed this, Wiz.
There was a lot of drama leading up to the game. Cornerback Jair Alexander on the Packers was talking a lot of trash, saying Justin Jefferson in the Vikings' first matchup with the Packers wasn't impressive, wasn't that much to start off with. And he held them to one reception and 15 yards on Sunday. And you saw all the temper and the anger out of Jefferson getting the emotions just like that in front of the refs. Thank God he didn't hit the ref because it looked like he made hard contact, but I think it was just a tap from what I saw, but it could have been way worse. But 41-17 against a division opponent like that, something's got to give on the football field for Minnesota.
Absolutely. You look at the quarterbacks as we keep talking about, and we look at the young quarterbacks in the NFL making noise, and the old quarterbacks continue to make noise. And I'm talking about Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars. They win. They're in. They could get in this weekend. That young man developing into the number one pick week by week. It's better and better for the Jaguars. And so does Kenny Pickett for the Steelers, the number one pick out of Pittsburgh. But the Steelers will need help. Pickett led them to an 11-play, 80-yard drive on Sunday. This team once 2-6. They get to drive the win over the Ravens, and they have a shot. They have to win, and they're in. And that's because of Kenny Pickett.
That was a great draft pick for Kenny Pickett and the Pittsburgh Steelers. It was a for fruition, honestly, because the University of Pitt, that's where he was out of for Kenny Pickett, and just be Pittsburgh Steeler just like that within a year. Kudos to him. Rookie season, fighting for a playoff spot. It's only up from here. And year 2, year 3, the trajectory for Pittsburgh fans, it wasn't like that for August. Now they're tuned up for next season, and they're ready to be a legit AFC contender with Kenny Pickett at the helm.
Now, Wiz, do you think the older guys in any profession don't have it no more? What do you think?
I think it varies situation by situation. Tampa Bay, Green Bay with Rodgers and Brady, we see it here and there.
Let's discuss. Yeah, I'm glad you weren't talking about me, because many people say I still have it. But you know what I'm getting at, as I want to talk about Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers with that shot to make the playoffs. Who would have thought that? And Tom Brady, once again, not showing any signs of a 42-year-old man or whatever he is. 432 yards as Tampa Bay gets an NFC South Division championship. And, of course, they get the bye. It's hard to believe that what Brady and Rodgers have done down the stretch here, leading their teams at their age, after what was going on earlier in the year with them.
That's the massive point right there. What was going on in the earlier parts of the year to now? These guys, these old quarterbacks, these 39-plus-year-olds, they've been through the ringer for an NFL franchise, NFL career, honestly. So for Brady, Rodgers, they've been through it all. They've seen these playoff hunts. They've started 4-3 or 5-1. They started off the best team. They started off the worst team. So they know those highs and lows. So they're always ready for the playoff hunt, and now you see Tampa.
Goes to show the veterans are the best. They know what to do. They know what it means to win, and they're still guys are still going at it with a chance to lead them into the NFL postseason. How deep, that remains to be seen. Now, we look at Josh Allen and Joe Burrow. That was the game to watch last night. We didn't get it, of course, because of the unfortunate situation with Damar Hamlin, and that remains to be determined where Allen and Burrow go. We don't know where the seeding will be in the AFC. That's still in the balance, as we discussed. The Cowboys, a second straight year with 12 wins, and Ezekiel Elliott, 9 straight games rushing for a touchdown. When he goes, so do those Cowboys, don't they?
Big time. When Zeke goes, Cowboys win 24 wins in the last 2 years under Mike McCarthy. But their biggest question is what comes in January football? Can they gather 3 wins and get what Dallas Cowboy fans have been asking for since the 90s? A Super Bowl appearance? Not even a Super Bowl win, a Super Bowl appearance. That's what Cowboy fans are asking for.
It's all it's again, the NFL, as we get into the playoff picture, and let's put that up. Let's look at where we are right now in the NFL playoff picture as we head into week 18. Wiz, again, we cannot look at the Bengals and the Bills right now to determine anything, but just about it's locking in, as you can see.
Definitely. It's locking in week by week. And right now, the AFC is a freaking gauntlet. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, those top 5 right there, all of them. It's an arguing point. They could be in the Super Bowl this year. All 5 of them. You pick one. That's all it takes. And on the NFC, it's the total opposite. Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, Kirk Cousins, Tom Brady, Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, shining the last 5 weeks, 6 weeks. No one knew who he was 6 weeks ago. And now
No,
he's going to be in
and
the
you
playoffs.
you're bringing up Hurts and the Eagles all of a sudden down the stretch here with a couple of losses, and you got to wonder about them as the number 1 seed in the NFC, and the Cowboys could be the team there. But I'm still looking at some of those dark horses trying to get in, because just like in baseball, you got a wild card and you're fighting for it. You win, you got momentum, and don't sleep on the 49ers. And Purdy is their quarterback. That team seems they can't lose. They do everything right.
Honestly, I totally agree. They have the most unique and most elite positions around the quarterback. That's what's shining right now. Christian McCaffrey is being a Pro Bowler from Carolina. You got Debo Samuel being Debo Samuel, George Kittle. And when we speak about the defense, where do we start? Nick Bosa is going to win Defensive Player of the Year. You got other guys doing their part, and special teams led by Kyle Shanahan. So right then and there, everything's working for San Francisco. So let's see what happens in January.
Let's see what happens there. And here's the NFL draft order as of right now. It's interesting. Take a look at it.
I'm very interested.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, I'm very interested in those top 5 picks. It's definitely going to change this Sunday. We'll see throughout the top 10, top 15.
Now, of course, but the Arizona Cardinals are in there, and they're so dysfunctional. They need more than 1 draft pick to get their act together.
Definitely. They need at least 2 or 3 first rounders, but this year they don't have it, unfortunately. Houston, Chicago, Seattle, as you said, Arizona, and the Colts line out the top 5. And honestly, where it stands right now, the top 3 players on the chart going is Bryce Young from Bama, Will Anderson from Bama, and CJ Stroud from Bama. Those are my top 3, in my opinion. Things may change till April, till June. We'll see. But let's see how things pan out. April 27th in Kansas City, the NFL draft is going down this year.
With 1 more week left in the regular season as of now. All right, let's go to Major League Baseball. Now the holidays are over, and that means it's countdown to spring training. Pitches and catches, believe it or not, 41 days away down in Florida and Arizona. And Major League Baseball signings continue. Where does Carlos Correa end up?
Oof, that's the biggest question up on the wall.
The Mets. Where does he end up? Is he going to be a Met? Did the Giants sneak into this again? My sources tell me Correa, as you might have been reading and hearing the same thing, wants to play in New York. He wants to be by his friend Francisco Lindor, manning the Mets infield. I think the Mets said it's very dark about it. We're hearing nothing. You ask me, Correa will be a Met. They'll agree to this by the end of the week.
Yeah, I agree. By the end of the week, we'll definitely hear more day by day, and I think they'll get it done by the end of the week, if not next week. The first deal, it was 12 years for $315 million, and like the San Francisco Giants, the Mets saw something in the physical they didn't like. It's a left ankle issue pertaining to a plate insert in 2014 during his minor league stint before he was even a pro. And the last 3 seasons, he's proved to be one of the most durable players across Major League Baseball. 58 games played in 2020. 148 played 2021, and 136 games played last season. So if it comes down to durability and the first 1 to 5 years for this Mets contract, that's what it's going to take for this deal to get done.
And Wizzy says doesn't bother him at all. He gets a little sting in it. That's it, in the leg. So, but you know what? I don't buy the rumors that the Giants are trying to sneak in on this again. Correa wants the Mets. The agent Scott Boras would love him there. Him and Steve Cohen, the Mets owner, richest owner in the game. Both of them, they have a very good relationship. They'll work it out, and by the end of the week, that comes to fruition. Sean Murphy traded the Braves, and what did they do? They signed another young player to a long-term deal, making them even stronger at the catching position. 6 years, $73 million. So the contracts keep coming.
They keep on coming in Atlanta. They're stacking up for the future and now win mode for both the future and in the 5 years from now, honestly, to start off. But the Braves extended 6 core players. By core players, I mean position players. Acuna, Albies, Riley, Olson, Michael Harris, and now you add in Sean Murphy, 28 years old, top 3 catcher in all of baseball, perhaps easily top 5, but 3-team trade, and I think it was worth it for Atlanta, and they're right then and there. They're right in it with the Phillies and Mets for the NL East.
And the Braves are one of the youngest teams in baseball, and again, that's going to be an interesting National League East when the season starts the end of March. Evan Longoria, a veteran, a 1-year deal with the Diamondbacks, so he gets another deal. This time he goes to Arizona. And Longoria is a guy I was really hoping Mets would look at him, but they apparently had no interest. They had other ideas. That was just in case if they didn't re-sign Brandon Nimmo. So Longoria with a new team and Nathan Eovaldi still getting the contract, making that Rangers pitching staff pretty fearsome, Wiz. He joins their rotation with DeGrom and Perez. And Nathan Eovaldi, he seems like he's always got a deal 1 year after another and can help this team too in that rotation.
That was a big time pickup by Texas. 2 years, $34 million. Eovaldi's only 32 years old. In the last 3 full seasons, eliminating 2020 because of the shortened year, he has 20 starts in each season. So he's durable as heck to pair with DeGrom, to pair with Andrew Heaney, to pair with Martin Perez. And along that stretch, he had a 3.87 ERA in his prove-it year this past year with 103 strikeouts. That's formidable for your 4th ace in the rotation.
It really is. You know how I feel about Martin Perez. You know how I feel about him. And I was fortunate to cover a few of his starts in New York this past season. He's got a great slider, and I love his fastball command. So, we'll see how DeGrom does with the Rangers. And, I feel about Jacob DeGrom. Every Met fan felt that way too now. Who needs him? Mets got Verlander and Scherzer, 2 40-year-olds, Cy Young Award winners, right? Let's see where that goes. All right, and this guy, Ohtani, keeps making – there's always a buzz about Ohtani, Wiz. And why is that?
There's always a buzz about Ohtani because, honestly, he's going to be the first $450 to $550 million man in baseball. The man does
not
it all.
Juan Soto? You don't think Juan Soto will get that?
I think Ohtani's going to get it before Soto. So Ohtani's going to be the first player. Soto will be the second one. But Ohtani, like I said, he does it all. Pitches, hits at an MVP level, a Cy Young level. But honestly, he's been in the papers. He's been in the rumors month by month because the Angels are rumored to sell by spring training or before spring training. And honestly, it's a rumor. We've seen it month by month. But if they're selling, it could be that new owner syndrome where they want to get rid of a superstar and start from brand new with their new start. Well,
we'll see if Ohtani becomes a New York Met. There's always talk about that too, which would be, Billy Epler, the connection with the Angels. We'll see I'm sorry I disappeared from your screen a second, but I got tangled up. First show of the new year, and I had my first blunder. I got tangled.
Talking baseball, I don't even notice.
We'll be at the ballpark soon, my friend, again. All right. We continue now, and we're going to get to the bottom of the hour now, 8:30 Eastern Time. I'm Rich Mancuso. That's Wiz Robert Rizzo. This is Sports with Rich live on the SLG Network. Welcome aboard. First show of the new year, and also we're live on social media. Like, comment, and subscribe. The network, and also Rich Mancuso's, my YouTube page, Rich Mancuso. Our social media being scrolled at the bottom. We reached the bottom of the hour, and you know what that means. Our first fact of the week of the new year and the first show. And we'll get to that in a moment. And the fact of the week, we bring in our new sponsor, Skull Fuel Energy. And let's put that skull up. We'll more about that next week in the weeks to come. However, take that skull down and I'll show you. I have a can of the new drink in front of me if you can see it. Can you see that, guys? There it is.
There we go.
That's
Love the
Skull
logo.
Fuel Energy. And I've had a few people have it already. Tried. I haven't. They said it just gives them the energy they never had before. So we welcome them again to the program, sponsor here at Sports with Rich, and also in the entire SLG network. And here we go. Fact of the week, guys. Come on in, Avery. Let's get a shot at the first one of the new year. Trying to make this one easier for you guys. Avery, how are you, my friend? Happy New Year.
Doing good. Thank you, Rich. Happy New Year to you.
How's the weather out your way?
Yeah, cold.
How you feel about Green Bay going into Sunday against the Lions?
I got one word for you. RELAX. Relax. It'll be fine.
Yeah, but you got to be happy the way that Aaron Rodgers has been playing down the stretch.
Well, no, I love the way that Aaron's playing down the stretch. He's playing like he should have been this entire year.
Well, he's not a young kid. Give him a chance. Maybe he needs some skull energy. That's what he needs.
Maybe he does.
All right, Avery, Rizz, let's get the first fact of the week. You ready? You might get this. It's not hard, and it's relatively easy to talk about. Super Bowl is coming up, and before you know it, we'll be there. It's about, 5 weeks away? Super Bowl Sunday already? Oh, so. Well, there's one team in the NFL that's never played in a Super Bowl. Now, this is pretty easy. I figured, let me get the first one in the new year, make it easy for you. Can name the NFL team that has never played in a Super Bowl?
The Cleveland Browns.
Remember, this is a fact, not trivia.
The Cleveland Browns.
Congratulations. You got it right off the bat.
There we go.
Yeah, I told you it would be easy. I told you it would be easy. And that means next week I will make it difficult. This one I thought would be easy. But the second part of the fact is now, without looking it up, when did the Cleveland Browns become an NFL franchise?
It's gotta be.
I remember now, Cleveland Browns. They then became the Baltimore Ravens, but they were still part of the agreement to relocate. They were still to be the Cleveland Browns with a new stadium and the Art Modell. that's when I was a Browns fan, and I used to sit in the dog pound once in a while out there in Cleveland. And then the Art Modell became our number one enemy because he sold out. But they've been an NFL franchise. What year did the Cleveland Browns become a franchise? All right, you've got the fact of the week. I just want to see if you can get. And Avery, of course, you're not getting a bobblehead, but go ahead.
Is it 1990?
No.
That's somewhere.
Remember now, you're talking post Cleveland when they relocated and sold out to Art Modell. Their first year in Cleveland as a NFL franchise when they became the Cleveland Browns.
I'll go around that same time area. I'm gonna go 1989.
No, all right. Both of you are wrong. You did get the fact of the week, but now I made it. See, I can be tricky. I'm making this part 2 of the fact of the week. So hold it, and you'll have time to look it up if you want. I hope you don't. Try and get it. Remember, it's a fact. It's not trivia. Avery, thank you, my friend. I'm going to take it to break. Come back, and we're going to talk college football because it is college football bowl season. We'll run down the national championship game as part of the college playoff coming down to 2 teams. We'll get to that much more. This is Sports with Rich. I'm Rich Mancuso. That's Wiz Robert Rizzo live on the SLG Network. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll be back on the other side. Stay with us. Sports with Rich live on the SLG Network. Welcome in again, everyone. I'm Rich Mancuso. This is Wiz Robert Rizzo. Like, comment, and subscribe. Our social media handles at the bottom of the screen. And we're sponsored not only by the popcorn that we're going to get soon, but also get ready for Soul Fuel Energy. And get your energy from Soul Fuel. And you'll see more about this next week on the program. Talk more about it. And down the line, maybe there's some exciting things happen with Skull Energy, Wiz. And it's not because of the skull, the drinking it. And I know you will, because I won't, but you will. But I'm hearing that people do drink this Skull Energy, and they get energized. It's as good as the others on the market. More to come. Thank you, Skull Energy, again, becoming a new sponsor here, keeping the Sports with Rich on the SLG Network. And Wiz, let's turn our attention now as we reach the other portion of our program and college football, because this is college bowl season. We had hoped to have a guest college bowl football expert on. He couldn't make it with us this week, so we'll shoot the breeze on it. How many bowl games have you watched in the last couple of weeks, honestly?
Honestly, I probably watched 6 to 7, but my interests were on 3, maybe 4.
Well, I got to tell you, there's a one I covered that I wrote on NewYorkSportsDay.com. We'll talk about it in a moment. Pinstripe Bowl, Yankee Stadium, Minnesota, and Syracuse. And that's it. I have not watched one bowl game, 1 minute. Could care less. You know why? There were too many. I grew up watching college football bowl games on New Year's Day. never on New Year's Eve, never on the days before, never after New Year's Day. There's just too many of them. Like I think there's like 64 bowl games in college football on the Division One level, all sponsored by different names, except for Key Food, the local supermarket. You know what I mean? There's just so many of them.
Yeah,
It's getting to the point that maybe I'll sponsor a college football game too. I'll use a Pee Wee League to be a part of it. But the big interest here is the college football. The championship game is at TCU and their championship aspirations and how they got by Michigan. And how did they do it? Their first Big Ten team to win a playoff game. How did TCU pull this off, Wiz?
one of the biggest upsets of the year, TCU over Michigan. I believe the line was +9 at the time, underdogs entering Saturday. So TCU upsets Michigan 51-45. And by the way they did it was in the second half. TCU scored 30 points in the second half with Max Duggan leading the way, quarterback, 225 yards, 2 touchdowns with 2 rushing TDs. Last national championship for TCU, 1938. 6 days from now, all things could change with Monday, TCU, Georgia.
And Georgia is going for their second national title consecutive year. And that game with it had a little of everything. I saw highlights of this. Stetson Bennett, 2 touchdowns, fourth quarter deficit comes back 42-41. Now, this was a bowl game. I only saw highlights of it. All right. For Alabama, it's Bryce Young. 321 yards, 5 touchdowns. Alabama takes care of Kansas State. Now, how do you match up as we look at the college football playoff picture and the image going up? How do you match up this championship game Monday night, this coming Monday night?
I'm going to ride with the Georgia Bulldogs. Right now, the opening line is set at -13 for the Bulldogs with a total 62.5. And everyone's going to be betting this game. All the normal gamblers, the degenerate gamblers, definitely for this one, last college football game of the season. And right now, 86% of the public is on TCU +13. 93% is on the over. So basically, if you're betting TCU, if you're betting that over, watch out because Vegas always knows public might get faded on that one. Next Monday night on ESPN, they have it on a ton of different outlets, but definitely tune in 8:15 next Monday night.
Does that game come down to the quarterbacks, Wiz? And, there was a little controversy because Michigan felt that they should have been in there all the time. And this leads to questions about the expansion of the college playoff system, which will go to 12 in the next year or two. Is that it?
I believe 2024, start 2024.
So some teams that maybe could have been in there weren't, and down the line there'll be more. Never like the 64 that you have in the NCAA men's basketball tournament. Let's face it, they got that right. They do it right every year. But now this will expand. But this game Monday night, intriguing. Alabama, good quarterback. And does it come down to the quarterbacks, which could decide this game? Do you think it'd be a passing game, a rushing game, defensive? What do you think?
Ooh, overall, I'm going to go with an offensive game. The biggest question is going to be TCU quarterback Max Duggan against Georgia's defense. Honestly, Georgia's defense is ranked up like an NFL defense. They could stop anyone, and for them to give up 41 points against Ohio State, that was a major letdown for them. Coming into it, they weren't giving up that many points against anybody. But overall, it just came down to their defense stepping up. Stetson Bennett leading the way with Kenny McIntosh as the running back leading the way. He had 70 rushing yards along with 56 receiving yards. Ultimate dual threat. He's going to be a top 10, top 15 pick this year in the draft. So a lot looking forward to Georgia TCU. There's a lot of stud talent.
So it will be an anticipated matchup Monday night, and that game's on ABC. And college football will get major exposure once again with the national championship game. But I don't know if I'll watch it because that's Monday Night Raw night for me. You know that. So,
yeah.
anyway. There was a bowl game in town in New York that I'm getting to cover it every year. I have the privilege of doing it again at Yankee Stadium, Minnesota against Syracuse, the Pinstripe Bowl with a new sponsor, the Pinstripe Bowl. The attendance wasn't that great, 31,000, one of the lowest attended, even though Syracuse, upstate New York team was there. And Minnesota came back. They won it. And let's take a look at this. Some of the footage I was able to take from the press box at Yankee. There's a lot of enthusiasm there, even though there were 31,000 fans. They do a great job with that game, Wiz.
Definitely do a great job with that game. The layout on the field is awesome. Kudos to the fielding management, the crew out there. They do it for baseball, football, soccer, you name it, concerts they do it for. So the alignment for that, I love it when it goes to that type of stuff. 31,000 was a major letdown compared to what you covered 2 months ago with Cortland versus Utica. They had a big crowd.
That's a good point. You figure that out. A Division III regular season game rivalry is Cornell and Ithaca, upstate New York teams, drew the second highest college football game in Division III attendance-wise, and drew better than a major Division I bowl game, because the Pinstripe Bowl has become a major Division I college football bowl game. And you can figure 42,000 for a Division III regular season game at Yankee Stadium. And the weather was pretty good at Yankee Stadium on last Thursday, rather, for the Pinstripe Bowl. It wasn't bad. It was very nice, good conditions. But 31,000, I can't accept that,
No. And I was surprised that many Syracuse fans didn't take the ride, and many of them live in the local area, Long Island, the boroughs.
Yeah.
So I was pretty surprised from that with Syracuse's audience. But overall, it was a great game, like you said, a lot of action, a lot of toss-ups with the score. But other than that, the fans got to start showing up. Come on, Syracuse. Come on, Minnesota.
And it had some excitement with the running back. His name will lose me. Check out my column on NewYorkSportsDay.com. The running back from Minnesota broke a career rushing record for the school, and came in. He was injured the year before and came in as a transfer, by the way. Well done, though. I love the way the officials put it together the whole week. There's events, World Trade Center, things like that. And congratulations again, New York Yankees organization, for hosting it. The winner gets the Steinbrenner Trophy, and the schools love to play in it. This time it was the ACC and the Big Ten at it. And they'll do that again, I believe, next year. They have an agreement for the Pinstripe Bowl. So the college bowl season is winding down. Was one game left. Name me five of in your opinion, Wiz, the five most noted college bowl games during this college bowl season.
Oof. Honestly, I can name you the matchups. If you ask me like the names of the bowls.
No, the names of the bowls. The names.
Oh, the Sugar Bowl, the Rose Bowl. Those are the two that come to mind. I'm not counting the national championship. Sugar Bowl, Rose Bowl. I'm blanking on that. The other semifinal.
How about the Cotton Bowl?
I think that the Cotton Bowl is the other semifinal one. So Cotton Bowl, Rose Bowl, and those three. The Cheez-Its Bowl. That's one. I find that funny because they have a bunch of Cheez-Its.
Fiesta Bowl. Yeah.
And yeah, see, there's so many. Like we could go down the list, but honestly, it comes down to the matchups year by year. You can have a weird sponsor name, but if it's say Alabama versus Texas, people are going to watch across the world.
How about this? Next year, they have a Keep It in the Ring Bowl.
We got to get something going. Unless it could happen if we get Justin Jefferson to play. If he's striking referees with his helmet, we'll have him be the main guy for our bowl game. Keep It in the Ring.
Well, I'd support that up because it's a good segue to get into our next break. And then what we'll do is go right into Keep It in the Ring with the pro boxing and wrestling talk. And we'll bring Ray in a moment after the break and talk about some of the pro wrestling news. Wiz, we'll be back, and we want you all to stay with us here on Sports with Rich Live on the SLG Network. Like, comment, and subscribe at SLG Network. Also, my channel, Rich Mancuso, all the social media platforms. Keep It in the Ring up next here at Sports with Rich. Rich Mancuso, the Wiz, Robert Rizzo, back on the other side. When we come back, Keep It in the Ring. Stay with us.
Lock the door and keep your eyes shut. The lights flicker, there's evil all around us. No one's safe from the nightmare. Cold sweat, so scared. Someone get me out of here. They say you better be afraid. The night's coming like fire from a hand grenade. There's no escaping tonight. It's coming alive.
And welcome back, Rich Mancuso, the Wiz, Robert Rizzo. Like, comment, and subscribe, and your comments in the cube. We'll get to you. This is Sports with Rich on the SLG Network every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern live. Happy New Year once again, our first show of the new year. And let's get to Keep It in the Ring. Our first segment of the new year sponsored by Skol Fuel Energy. And we'll take a look at the Skol again, the latest energy drink on the market. More about it next week. Wiz, let's pay attention to the boxing report. 2022 did not end up so great. We didn't have the major fights that we hope we're going to see in this new year. And that includes a fight that will have implications this Saturday. But I'm looking. Usyk finally and Tyson Fury, hopefully, and maybe they'll put that much discussed, anticipated talk all the time of Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford. Who's the best at 147? So many fights the promoters have to put together. But as I wrote in my end of the year report on Latinosports.com, the problem is the promoters, the networks, and all that can't get their act together, so we don't get to see the major fight. And that's unfortunate for the sport because it continues to give the sport a black eye, a dark eye, as I always say. But this Saturday, the new year begins off what I call a bang. And after that, we don't know when the next major fight will be. But however, this young man who got into some legal problems, as you know, last week, Gervonta Davis. Later, everything has been retracted. Didn't happen. It happened. Whatever. He was arrested for domestic violence assault again. He was detained, came out on $1,000 bond, and main eventing a Showtime pay-per-view this weekend, Saturday night, against the undefeated Hector Luis Garcia in Washington, D.C. We got a photo, an image of Gervonta. We put it up. No, that's Ryan Garcia, though. And you can keep that up because Garcia's not having a tune-up fight. Davis, to him, this is a tune-up fight to set up an April fight. I think it's April 15th. They've already decided to decide a supremacy between Davis and Garcia. Davis is going to be fighting at a catch weight against an undefeated Luis Garcia. And I got a question. How much of a discretion of his arrest and being detained have on him because he missed training a couple of days? I'm hearing no, not at all. He is going through all the press events this week, and I'm going to be interested to see tomorrow in a final press conference with the media and workouts also if that's going to be addressed. And because Gervonta Davis is always in problems, and he's one of these young superstars in the sport that boxing needs. Let's face it, he's as talented as they become. Wiz,
Definitely, he's as talented as they've become, but he's always in the news for these headlines, and it's unfortunate for him. As much as he's only 28 years old, he's the top boxing name in the sport, 27-0, 25 knockouts. But like you said, this is maybe the third or fourth occasion with Davis and law enforcement, and it's never stopping. It's every 6 months, every 8 months. So hopefully he straightens it out. Let's see what happens this week with the media sessions. Let's see how he acts with that. But honestly, let's see Saturday. That's the most important thing. If he can get through Saturday with the win, everything's healthy, no injuries, we'll get that April 15th fight everyone's been looking forward to.
Yeah, that's going to be a boost for boxing if it does happen. Because a lot of times fights don't go off. This one will on the undercard. Gerard Boots Ennis, who we know well, and he's on the undercard, and he wins this fight. There might be a Errol Spence down the line for this young superstar from Philadelphia who is undefeated, who knows how to knock guys out. He is ranked number 4. You know, he's fighting a number 4 contender in the IBF. Karen Shucker, I think you pronounce his name right. That's me again, botching names in the new year already. But Ennis might be eyeing Errol Spence Jr., and he's on the undercard on the Showtime pay-per-view Saturday preceding Gervonta Davis.
That's a big setup fight for him. He said it with us and previously throughout all these media sessions. He wants 3 fights this year, and to start off in January, closing up on one, that's a big goal of his, and he's already right there. So Jaron Ennis, 25 years old, one of the most confident guys we know in the business, one of the guys, not even just confidence, he's just outgoing, and he's passionate about what he does, helping his younger brother out there. So like we said, we're hoping the best for Jaron Ennis and in the future, and hopefully we get that big-time fight for 2023.
Yeah, well, let's hope there's a lot of that. There's a lot, again, fights potentially that could be made. The promoters and the streaming networks have to get their act together and work together to give boxing and the fans the fights they deserve. It's there. It's for their own benefit. Do it. And we got to get these fights going. That's all I got to say. One set. Yeah, there was.
Since we're talking about the fights we all want, me and you could both agree, the audience out there watching can agree, everyone wants Gervonta Garcia for April 15th. But if you had to slate one fight other than that to be the most hyped up fight throughout the year, what would it be other than Garcia and Tank?
Well, I'll tell you, I've been looking for the heavyweight division to have a unified champion for the longest. I want to see Usyk and Tyson Fury unify the heavyweight title. The heavyweight title has always been the face of boxing, in my opinion. Canelo Alvarez is the face still to many, and he's on the agenda maybe in this new year again. He rematch with Bivol either at 168 or at 160, or a light heavyweight. He might fight him again in a rematch light heavyweight. But to me, Crawford Spence, I don't think it's ever going to happen. Though they're looking maybe the end of the spring, but there's been no buzz about it happening. Yeah, I want to see the heavyweight title unified, and Tyson Fury wants it. He's in position for it. Alexander Usyk from Ukraine, he'd like to do it. They can do that. That's very workable. It's to Bob Arum with Fury, and Usyk has his promoters, and they can do this. They'll work together. They've already talked about it. Be a mega event, though, overseas in London, in the UK. That's the one I want to see, Wiz.
Definitely, and especially in UK, those crowds are unlike any other. It's not like Vegas. UK is a completely different level. They sell out, and obviously not just sell out. They pack a stadium 8 hours, 12 hours before the event even starts. Those fans are loyal, and for anything Tyson Fury, they're showing up for.
Keep It in the Ring continues. More boxing news. There is another fight card was announced this morning. February 4th, New York, Madison Square Garden, Hulu Theater, not the main arena. But again, females will highlight the main card. And the one there is Amanda Serrano, who made boxing history with Katie Taylor in this past year. Capacity crowd in the main arena at the Garden. First time 2 females highlighted the main event at the Mecca, Madison Square Garden. Amanda Serrano coming back against Erica Cruz for the world featherweight title. Hulu Theater, February 4th on the Zone. That that's interesting because it seems now is the females are getting more play thanks to Amanda Serrano.
Definitely, they're definitely getting more play. Not just, I was gonna say, UFC's been getting more play, but boxing, due to Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor's fight this past year, that made boxing and the women landscape change as a whole. So for Amanda Serrano to do what she's doing, February 4th can't come sooner. That's right around Super Bowl season. So there we go.
Announced today. This was announced before the end of the year. Jake Paul. Did you see this? Jake Paul, who is a boxing promoter and says he's going to fight again real soon. And Jake Paul has been appointed, named on salary, and a big salary, by the way. He is the social media director for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Sheesh,
Why couldn't you get that job?
That's news to me. You got me on that one. And me getting that job, general manager, anything with the Cavaliers, I don't know about that. But the Paul brothers in basketball, what are we doing here? It's like a comedy skit. I get it. He's from Ohio, but I don't know.
I just got this note about Virgil Ortiz, one of the rising welterweights, and Amantes Estanos, also one of the top 5 welterweights. They're going to face off. Mike Coppinger, ESPN, just put this out. And here's a fight now. See, they're going to start signing these fights.
There we go.
Welterweight bout March 18th in Texas. So, and that'll be good because Virgil Ortiz is ready for a title shot. And if Boots Ennis doesn't get Earl Spence, which I don't think he might, Virgil Ortiz is right there with him. So maybe they'll do that assuming both win their fight. So that's just announced. So, like, the holidays are over. The promoters may be listening to me. Oh, not me, really. Whoever listens to me anyway, really.
Hey,
and not even my best friends listen to me. Get the hell out of here, you old man. You know. Anyway, they're putting these fights together. I know you're listening, Doreen. I know you're listening, John. Some of my good friends watch the show every week. They listen. I don't know if they listen. Whatever. Here we go. Jamal Charlo, one of those superstars. But, he's not going to fight, Wiz. His junior middleweight title, junior middleweight championship match with Tszyu is off. He broke his hand. That happened in training before the year ended out. That card is off. That was supposed to be January 28th. So, that's part of boxing. Injuries, and that happens in training. So if you ever purchase tickets for a fight out of town with the plane reservations and the hotels, you got to be wary of that. It's happened to me as a reporter where, I've gone out and editors pay you back and all that stuff. I've gone off the plane and the fight's been canceled before I got off the plane. Ridiculous. That's part of the sport that makes it bad and something they have to work on in this new year to make it better because it's a recurring issue in the sport all the time. And here's another one with Charlo. Look, I'm not saying Charlo's wrong here. Injuries happen in the gym and sparring. You've been in the boxing gyms with me. You see how rugged that can get. Anything happens. It's part of the game.
Yeah. In the most random moments, in the most unfortunate moments, we see it all the time. What was it? Back in December, a main fight happened at the Garden, and it just slated 2 weeks before because of a non-COVID illness. So we never know in the boxing world what can happen. So
that was Teofimo Lopez's opponent.
Yes, I was blinking on the name.
And COVID is another matter in this because the testing for COVID in all sports, but here in boxing is very strict. So guys test positive, the fight is off. And so, be wary of that, my friends. If you're a boxing fanatic and you plan to go to a major fight out of town, before you spend your money, think about that. Our social media handles being scrolled at the bottom of the screen. I'm at Twitter, Ring786, Facebook.com, Rich Mancuso, and the Wiz can be reached where again?
Follow me on Twitter, RobertRizz994, Instagram, RRizzo4, Facebook, Robert Rizzo, and catch all my daily content on Latino Sports.
And let's continue Keep It in the Ring now, sponsored by Stole Energy, the newest drink on the market. More about that next week. And Cal says that Conor McGregor is back in boxing. I've been hearing rumors about that. But Cal, whatever Conor McGregor decides to do, I've heard that he might want to fight Floyd Mayweather again, that they're talking about it, because Mayweather's signing deals all over the place to fight
That's true.
exhibitions around the world, as is Manny Pacquiao, which blows my mind. Pacquiao signed with a new promoter to do legitimate fights, so he might be the 8th division champ back on the comeback trail. Come on, retire. You're a senator in the Philippines. Stay out of the ring. But I'm hearing, Cal, as you just noted, McGregor Mayweather again, that set an all-time record pay-per-view, supposedly. I don't know. That's what turns me off. And it gets me aggravated. It gets me agitated. Don't agitate me. The year just started. The new year. Keep it in the ring continues. Again, Skull Energy. And here we go. Let's bring in our buddy Ray. We haven't talked to him in a while. And Ray, that's not the Fiend. That's Skull Energy. And let's walk way back to the program. Happy New Year, Ray. How's everything?
Everything is everything, my friends. Happy New Year. I hope you enjoyed your holidays. I haven't spoken to you since my surgery. So
right. How you doing?
How's everything?
It's a long road to recovery, but hopefully within the next 3 to 4 months, I will be as good as new.
Wishing you the best,
Good,
Ray.
Appreciate it.
We missed you here. And Keith, by the way, Kevin, by the way, was very good filling in for you.
He was fantastic.
There's nothing like having Ray on the program. And I'd like to have the two of you on the program together one time. How about we do that?
We can absolutely do that. Just let me know what you're thinking, and we will put it in motion.
Now, Ray, you host again the program here on the SLG Network. Tell us again, what time can our listeners and viewers get to hear, watch you, and give all the wrestling news and other stuff? What is it?
For our wrestling news and everything going on, all the goings on in the world of professional wrestling, you can head over to the SLG Network YouTube page, youtube.com/the SLG Network, Fridays at 8 p.m., where we will do our live podcast as well as a watch along with that week's episode of SmackDown Live. That is 8 p.m. on Fridays, off the top rope. Mondays, we just concluded our first episode of the new year, season 2, as we dubbed it, of the BJD podcast, which is pretty much just us talking about everything, and a real scary moment because we were on when the whole Damar Hamlin incident happened, and it was absolutely frightening just seeing how long he was down for. And so thoughts and prayers out to him.
I'm watching
family.
Monday Night Raw on Monday night, but because that game had so many implications and all the buildup, I figured, let me stick with that and watch Raw another way. And then I stuck with it, and I couldn't, It's but like I said, our thoughts and prayers with that young man, and will continue to be. But let's talk about WWE and Monday Night Raw last night. Set up some more things. We're getting ready for the Royal Rumble at the end of the month. And what did you make of Theory and Rollins? And Rollins got hurt in the match. Rollins supposedly hurt his leg. You could see that happening live, where he favored his leg. And we don't know the status of Rollins' injury right now, but he was limping after the match. And Theory obviously got the call. I wonder if they changed the outcome of that match, Ray, because they knew Rollins was hurt.
They probably would have. I've seen footage of after the show went off the air, and it's just by the way Corey Graves was acting and his body language, like he was flipping out. He's like, if you watch his body language was very demonstrative, very almost aggressive towards the referee. Like you could almost kind of see him saying, WTF, are you, what the F are you doing right now? Get him some help. And like, it gets to the point where he literally throws Seth's arm over his shoulder and tries to get him up and walk him to the back.
I saw that.
Recently there was a tweet put out by Seth Rollins at 7:55 p.m. It says, redesign, rebuild, reclaim.
What do you make of
that? Not really. That's to me, that's not sounding very, very good. To me, that sounds like he is very hurt, real life hurt.
Wow.
Uh,
Yeah, and that would be a blow to the to them because AJ Styles is down now for what 5-6 months, right?
Broken ankle, I think, yeah, at a minimum 6 to 8 weeks, depending on the severity of the break. It didn't require surgery, and they didn't say it was a severe break. But yeah, they this is the wrong time to be getting hit with the injury bug.
No, we're getting into
And
the WrestleMania season. It's going to happen, and if Rollins is out, that's a big blow to them for that, as well as look, AJ Styles has his faction,
Yep.
and that may not carry out now with Charlotte
and you,
Flair. Yeah,
I was gonna say, and you being the wrestling guru that you are, how does WWE, the referees, and the wrestlers as a whole try to avoid these issues month by month, show by show? Because at the end of the day, these things can happen every single show. Injuries, it's so unpredictable.
Well,
So
I've seen it firsthand working in the business too. But go ahead, Ray, give your take.
a big portion of why WWE superstars are not injured nearly as much as, say, other companies is because of the house show circuit. And Bully Ray has said it numerous times in interviews where he has said, the more you do it, the more your body is calloused. And he talks about when he did that fantastic run in Ring of Honor with Flip Gordon. It bothered him at first because he had been out of the ring for so long. So like bumps that he would take on a daily, nightly basis, sometimes twice a night, were affecting him in different ways until his body became calloused again, used to the
wear and tear. I mean,
the punishment.
They don't do as many house shows as they used to do.
No, not at all.
They're on 2 days a week on the major networks, USA and Fox, and they have to perform. And when they do, they go all out. And then those house shows that they end up doing, I'm seeing a lot of the injuries happen at house shows as well. So they're going all out. And the wear and tear on a pro wrestler is just as rigorous as the wear and tear on any pro athlete. It might be worse because they have to perform. Remember, they're sports entertainers, as they say. Let's get a Charlotte Flair, Ray. And that surprised me. She came back so quick on Friday. I told the Wiz too, because I'm trying. The Wiz is finally learning who the baby face is, who the heel is. That's how we left him in the old year. And the new year, he promised to learn that, and he knows it now. Charlotte Flair, that was a surprise coming back and winning the title of Rousey so quick on Friday night.
Listen, in all honesty, that is something in my mind and in my personal opinion that had to happen. That title run with Ronda Rousey was so, for lack of a better term, and I really don't want to be derogatory, and that's not how I mean it. It was abysmal.
It was bad. It was bad. Yeah, I agree.
It really was. Like when she first, when Ronda first came in, before she took her hiatus and before she became a mom, she showed improvement week to week. And this title run, it's almost as if she was digressing each week. Like she just didn't feel comfortable in.
No, maybe she's in her skin. Well, what's the plan now? What do you see the future of Ronda Rousey now?
I think, honestly, the best thing for Ronda Rousey would be to take a phrase from Bruce Pritchard, go off, learn a new hold, come back with a fresh paint of coat.
Yeah.
And, give it time, work on your craft, hone your craft. The physicality, she is good. She is fantastic with the physicality, right? But it's more the promo work. You don't want people, as soon as you open your mouth, to just be like, I'm done.
Yeah, it's true.
You
don't have to sell
90%.
yourself. You don't have to sell yourself in UFC. In WWE, you kind of got to sell yourself.
Well, so here's the thing. In the UFC, she didn't have to because the machine of the UFC was doing that for her. Dana White was getting her in the movies. Dana White was getting her the endorsements, the advertisements, the machine of the UFC were the ones pushing her out there.
Dana
You know,
White made
she
some
didn't.
news. You're bringing up Dana White, and to change, we'll go back to the wrestling, but he was in the news yesterday, domestic violence, New Year's
Yeah,
Eve with his wife. Had to
yeah,
retract all that. That's
evidently,
crazy.
they were on vacation in Cabo. He's
Crazy.
already talked to TMZ about it. Evidently, they
Yeah.
were on vacation in Cabo. They were both incredibly drunk. And he's not saying that to as an excuse, but just letting you know that alcohol did play a huge part in this.
No, I
And
know it did. Yeah. As it
she
does
hauled
with a lot
off.
of people.
Right. She hauled
Yeah.
off, she
So,
slapped him, and then he
yeah, I know. But
retaliated.
he'll
And
be all right. Another problem with him. He'll
I
be
don't really
fine.
think there's gonna be a
Now,
huge blowback from
so
that.
we're getting into WrestleMania season, Ray, and you see John Cena pop up on SmackDown in the tag match with Kevin Owens against the Bloodline.
Yeah.
And now the Cena, from what you're hearing, is he a part of WrestleMania plan?
Well, I mean, up until a week ago, I don't believe he was, but now you have AJ Styles and Seth Rollins going down. So, I mean, we're talking about the WWE, man. At this point, anything is possible. I mean, I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if Goldberg comes out for the Royal Rumble because of this.
Right,
I mean, the
right.
AJ
I know
Styles and Seth Rollins.
Our buddy Calvin, a part of the SLG network, just brought up Goldberg, maybe a WrestleMania match. You never know with that old man.
Yeah, he commented we're gonna get Shane McMahon versus Goldberg
Yeah.
for the
Oh
world
God, I
title
hope
at
not.
WrestleMania.
If that's WrestleMania, to put that on WrestleMania, total waste. Now,
Listen,
where is Roman Reigns, The Rock, Cody Rhodes? What's going on, Bloodline? When is Sami Zayn going to be turned on? When are they going to turn on him? I can't stand the character. A lot of people do. I hate it.
listen, I really honestly thought that the turn on Sammy or Sammy turning on the Bloodline would have happened by now. But
they're
it hasn't.
milking
They are. But here's the thing: I don't want to say that they're milking it, because if you say that they're milking it, that insinuates that there's no more feet to the story, right? Sammy is doing such good character work that you thought he was going to be turned on, and now he's come out as more of this vicious character.
Change of direction, maybe, with him.
I think you're seeing a change of direction, and I think that there might not be as quick of an end to this. Not that it would be really a quick end,
because he's supposed to with him and Owens now probably teaming up, and then at WrestleMania, him and the Bloodline, the Usos for the title. But what did you make of Dominic Mysterio getting arrested?
I thought
Christmas
that it was.
Eve. What?
I
was
thought
so
that it was
stupid entertainment. That was so dumb.
It was.
Mommy, I
was.
can't make it in jail. Mommy, get me out of here.
Listen, so I agree that it was corny, but it was that entertainment corny, man. Like it's this generation's Doink the Clown, right?
Yeah,
like,
but what is it doing, Ray? It's leading up to the Mysterios father and son WrestleMania match, isn't it?
Oh,
then they'll make
I absolutely
together again, right?
I absolutely think you're going to see a hair versus mask match. And that will probably be that hair versus mask match is going to be Rey Mysterio's last match. I would anticipate it happening at WrestleMania, because that's usually where all the big last matches happen.
Yeah, it always does. Yeah, that's it. Hair versus mask. Me and the Wiz. And speaking of that, the Fiend, not the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, Uncle Howdy. Is Uncle Howdy? I want the answer, but I'm done with that. It's his brother, the younger Rotunda brother. Bo.
Listen, there is so much speculation, and this is the best part, because there are so many different people who it could be. It could be Bo Dallas. It could also be Vincent Marseglia from former Ring of Honor tag team champion. The thing is, the masks are, when you see the masks, they're different masks each time.
They
and
are
the person
all the
wearing
time. Even
them,
last night on Raw. And who is it? It's a scary character.
Uncle Howdy, absolutely. Uncle Harper, Uncle
more
Howdy.
Scary than the Undertaker, maybe. what they're doing with that. And what about Alexa Bliss? It seems like she's realigning with this whole thing now.
Yeah, I kind of at first I liked the sort of PTSD angle that they were playing with her when Bray first came back. They'd flash the logo while Alexa was around, and she'd catch a glimpse of it and act, spooked and everything. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm just not really sure I'm as on board with her going back.
No, neither am I. Is Bianca Belair really hurt?
I don't believe so. I believe that was all
just part of the angle, right?
Yeah.
Wiz, we're almost done with the wrestling. Let's get a question for Ray. Wiz, he's been watching a little more of this stuff.
Tuned
That's
in week by
fantastic.
week.
Awesome.
Now,
that is awesome news.
I know. We're gonna get him. And I keep telling him he's got to get more. He's got to keep it in the ring.
He's starting off on a good foot.
Have you watched the Ric Flair documentary? I did. It was awesome on Peacock.
I have not seen it yet. I think things are a little hectic in my household at the moment, and hopefully I'm looking at tomorrow.
Catch it.
Before
Fantastic,
Dynamite
because it explains that he's Ric Flair, the wrestler, not Ric Flair, the person. And that whole persona is just part of his life, and it continues to be. He says he's going to keep wrestling. I don't, but it's great.
Listen,
watch it if you can.
I don't agree with the him keep wrestling thing. I do agree with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. The whole reason why Ricky Steamboat backed out of that Flair's last match is because he was unaware that Flair had a pacemaker until he sat down with Conrad and it came out, and he was like, "Oh, I'm good."
To me, if this continues, that's a tragedy in the making. I hope not, but I just got a bad feeling about it.
Listen, he has gone on record. He's gone on record multiple times. If you've ever seen the movie The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke,
I have,
and how it ends, that he's gone on record multiple times to say that's how he wants his career to end.
He's got 9 lives. His life, Rizz, you got to watch this. Ric Flair's got 9 lives.
He does.
What he's done. I can't believe it.
And he had such a tragic beginning. I mean, being stolen from your biological
parents. I didn't realize he was adopted. That his real parents. He was an adoptive son. It's an unbelievable story. You got to catch it. AEW, the Acclaimed. We got an image of the Acclaimed. I think we could put it up because I love these two guys. Tag team of the year to me in wrestling.
Oh, absolutely.
Bowens and Caster. Where are they headed? Right? Do they turn on each other soon, or do they continue this tag team reign?
No, they need to continue.
AEW.
Me personally, I think they need to continue this tag team reign. They are fantastic. There's such representation in the Acclaimed for minorities, and obviously I'm talking about racial minorities as well as Anthony Bowens being the first gay tag team champion, openly gay champion for AEW. There's so much representation there, and they have such good chemistry. And Max Caster's raps just get better every week, and he is still getting some backlash from that one that they aired last week.
Now, AEW is holding their own. They're still strong. Ratings not be as big as WWE, but competitive enough on the TBS networks that they have. Tony Khan has made mention about more expansion in the new year. London, Canada, more Pacific Northwest. Where brief rate does AEW make their move in this new year?
Oh, absolutely. They've been trying to because the Khans own the is it Fulham?
Jacksonville Jaguars.
No, they own the Jacksonville Jaguars of the NFL, but I'm talking about over in London. It's the Fulham football team, right? I believe so.
Right.
Yeah, I think so. Like that.
And they have their own arena, so I know that they've been trying to get a show there, which would really, really be beneficial to them, because they had MJF and Patty Pimblett of the UFC have had this kind of on and off again hate hate relationship on Twitter.
Mhm.
So, and even Patty Pimblett's been like, listen, tell your boss, load up Fulham, and I will see you guys there. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happens, and you see a UFC crossover, very much akin to, and hopefully much more successful than the America's Top Team Dan Lambert crossover with AEW.
Well, it's nice to see the competition. It's nice to see what's going on in pro wrestling. There is a lot of activity going on every week. That's why I'm glad to have you to fill in. You're more tuned into it than I am, Ray. And Sting, rumored to retire. Any validity to that? That Steve Borden is finally going to retire. He had an active year, and he did high risk maneuvers. For a man his age, 62 years old, I believe.
62 years old, jumping off of balconies and through tables.
I mean, how much can your body take with that? I mean, insane. So there's a rumor about him retiring. And you can see he's not playing that much of an active role with Darby Allin in AEW right now.
Yeah, I believe even, was it, I think it may have been this past week on Dynamite. I kind of get Dynamite and Rampage messed up at times.
One is live and one is taped.
Right, but then they both take place on the same day and everything like that. Yeah, there was a backstage segment with...
Rizz, are you ready to go in an AEW event with me in the spring?
No, not yet. We got to wait on that. I'm not prepared.
He'll be at the ballpark, that's why.
Yep.
Yankees.
All right, Ray, my friend, this was great catching up with you again. We'll do it again next week on the program. Always full of information. You educate me, and I know what's going on in this business, but your insights are always on the money with us. Thanks again. Where do fans get you again on the SLG network?
The fans can get us on Mondays, 8 p.m., youtube.com/the SLG network for the BJD podcast, where we talk about a variety of things. And for all things going on in the world of wrestling, Friday nights, 8 p.m., again, youtube.com/the SLG network. You get the Off the Top Rope podcast. We run concurrently with SmackDown. So it's a podcast where we talk about this past week in pro wrestling.
Right.
And we also do a live watch along, or more of a reaction show, because we don't show the SmackDown. But you do get a live reaction to SmackDown.
I will do my best to tune in this coming week and hopefully get on your program soon as well. And we'll
sounds great.
All right.
Can't wait to have you.
And have you and Kevin on. All right, Wiz, we'll say goodbye to Ray this week. Thank you, my friend. Keep it in the ring.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me, guys.
Always.
Thanks for being back.
And Wiz, if anything, you listen, you learn pro wrestling with him.
As always.
As well. As always, we keep it in the ring every week on the program Sports with Rich. All right, we'll be back in a moment. We'll come back on the other side, and we have more to do. Of course, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Sports with Rich, SLG Network Live, Tuesday night. First show of the new year. Back with the NBA talk, a lot of that, records and such, and also Nobody Beats the Wiz, the first installment of the new year. On the other side here at Sports with Rich, on the SLG Network and my channel, YouTube, Rich Mancuso. Like, comment, and subscribe. Back after this, take a look at this.
Spending money like it's nothing. I don't have a budget. Please don't get offended when you see the kids stunting. Got my queens with me, but it ain't no Scarborough bluffing. See, I'm riding solo while dependent bitches cuffing. I got all I need, me, myself, and I just love it. I've been gone. Rich is stacking to the ceiling. I'm dick long. Can never change the side I've been on. In 100 years, I'ma still be with my day ones. When it's said and done, fuck where I'm going, it's all about where I came from. You don't know.
And thank you once again, Ray, for keeping it in the ring. I'm Rich Mancuso. This is, that's the Wiz, Robert Rizzo, my young protege on the SLG Network, Sports with Rich. Hey, Wiz, before we get to the NBA and Nobody Beats the Wiz, what was your favorite part of taking some time off? You know, in other words, did you have a nice break?
I had a great break. I caught up with a bunch of friends. Like I said, caught up with a bunch of family.
And you didn't invite me. You didn't invite me again.
Yep. I don't know what else to say, but yeah, I caught up with friends. I caught up with family.
Good. It's holidays at that time, and I hope everyone out there had a good holiday season and look for a good year here in 2023. I'm getting older. The Wiz is getting a little older, but still much younger than me. And we're going to keep bringing this program each and every week. And we're sponsored not only by others, but our newest sponsor is, and more about it next week. You'll see more about them, Skull Fuel Energy, newest energy on the market. I'll put up the can again. And there's the skull. And here's the drink. And we'll get them to you and sample it and see how good it is. It gives you a lot of energy. That's all I know. I've heard it from people that have had it already. So welcome them once again. This segment sponsored by Skull Energy and Skull Fuel Energy. Is it called? That's the NBA. A lot of that going on now. We could pick that up with their All-Star break a month away. And Wiz, the Nets winning streak at 12 games amazes me. A team that was dysfunctional, couldn't win, coaching change, Steve Nash, the Vaughn, and now they can't lose. Kyrie Irving, 27 points last night. Kevin Durant, 25. I always said against the Spurs, these two make the team go, and they're doing it. And Friday night against the Pelicans, possible NBA Finals preview. And this team can't lose right now. What is it?
Right now, 12-game win streak, winning last 16 of 17. KD, Kyrie running the charge, like you said. Jack Vaughn got everyone bought in. New head coach from the jump. 10 games in, compared to Steve Nash, it seems like a completely different team. Ben Simmons is being Ben Simmons from Philadelphia. And going back to KD and Kyrie, those are the catalyst guys for the Nets. KD in this stretch, 30.4 points a game with 7 rebounds per game. Kyrie right there along, 26.7 points per game, 5.5 rebounds. So those two doing it, you're going to get many wins throughout an 82-game season.
Yeah, can they keep this up? Is it possible that they will go far? Is this team, in other words, for real, in your opinion?
I think they could go pretty far. It's just a matter on how far, because a first-year head coach with all the drama that transpired in the first half of the season, it's just a matter of time and see how they influence the second half of the season when it opens up. But Milwaukee, you got the Boston Celtics, you got the Brooklyn Nets right there along with them, and I'd say the Sixers are your top 4 right now, but anything can change month by month.
And across town in New York at the Garden, Julius Randle and the Knicks, they keep playing games and put their fans, because it either win streaks or losing streaks. 28 points, 16 rebounds yesterday, and they win over the fast-fading Phoenix Suns, a team that I root for. And Julius Randle seems like, just like on the Nets side, on the Knicks side, it's not Jalen Brunson, it's Julius Randle.
Yeah, honestly, the last week or so since Jalen Brunson suffered a hip injury, sidelining him here and there, he's been playing. But Randle's been the catalyst for the Knicks, like the Nets with Kyrie and Durant. Randle for the Knicks, 28 points in each game since December 21st. So I believe the last 14 games, he has 28 plus points, and they're 5-5 in the last 10 games. So as much as Randle's giving you 30 points a game, it comes down to the Knicks' defensive awareness, their lack on defense, because they'll be losing games 120 to 110. Randle has a near triple-double at the 40-point mark. So it comes down to defense, Brunson buying in, and Thibodeau being the coach he is.
60 points scored by who? A lot of points being scored. Let's get to this one first.
Luka Doncic, I believe last Wednesday against the Knicks, we were just talking about them. It always seems to happen against the Knicks. Any highlight moment for a superstar, it's against the Knicks. And this one, like the others, 60 points, 21 rebounds, 10 assists last week. First ever 60-20-10 game in NBA history. This guy is only 22, 23 years old, leading the stuff.
But how about last night? Donovan Mitchell, 71 points. What's going on for the Cavaliers? Most by an NBA player in 17 years, most since Kobe Bryant performance of in 2006 versus Toronto. 71 points. He's in the record books as a top 5.
No one's playing a lick of defense. That's my honest opinion. The last 10 days, we had Luka drop 50 points in three games. Donovan Mitchell scores 71 points. Klay Thompson, 54 points. LeBron, 47 points. And Giannis being Giannis, 40-point games with 20 rebounds or more. Back to back. No defense whatsoever.
We're going to get our NBA people on this because that is wild. I mean, that's what the NBA, I guess what the fans want to see that. And the commissioner loves that. But to me, that's too much 3-point shooting, no defense, and horrible basketball. Am I right to say that?
Yeah, I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it. But when I see 150 to 140 on my phone and these teams are in overtime, I'm tuning in to 150, 140. I didn't even know the Cavs were playing last night until I saw a 60 mark for Donovan Mitchell. I'm like, damn, I got to tune in now.
Well, it didn't get much headlines because of what happened in Cincinnati, and that overshadowed everything. So that's why that didn't get any play at all. But 71 points, I mean, that's a story. In the meantime, Devin Booker out with the Suns is having an impact for 4 weeks with a strain groin, among other things. And they also have Cam Johnson out. Cameron Payne is out. Like half the Suns starters are out. You might as well give up the season for crying out loud because they just keep falling apart. And without Booker, the Suns are nothing, even though Chris Paul is holding his own in the desert.
Definitely. Without Devin Booker, the Suns are just a playing team at best. They'll make the playoffs maybe right now. Without Devin Booker, they're 8th in the West, 20-18. So something's got to give for Phoenix and Monty Williams. And he's projected to miss 4 weeks due to this left groin strain. And it's been happening to a lot of these superstar players, no matter the position, no matter the height, the weight. It happens throughout the severity of an 82-game season. But the next 3 games for the Suns, it doesn't get easier from here. You got the Cavs that we're just talking about with Donovan Mitchell dropping 70+. Then you got the Heat, and then you got the Cavs again. So it doesn't get easier from here.
I'd like to see what the fans think about this. So get us on in a cube here tonight. Comment, subscribe, SLG Network, and my channel, Rich Mancuso on YouTube. Interesting points you make, Wiz. And how about Paul George here? And Leonard and so forth. You have some other NBA notes to talk about.
Paul George and Kawhi Leonard for the LA Clippers have been going through injuries here and there throughout this season, throughout last season. The last 2 or 3 weeks or so, they've been finally getting it together, playing on the court together, not missing games throughout the week. Right now, they're 21-18. They rank 6th in the West. And throughout this 11-game stretch for Kawhi Leonard, he's been doing Kawhi Leonard-like things. 20.6 points per game with 7 rebounds per game, and pair that with elite defense, something that we were just talking about before. There's no defense in the NBA. Kawhi Leonard, Giannis, those are the only 2 I can name right now that are playing legitimate defense every night. So Kawhi Leonard, PG, along with PG. PG's a top 5 wing across the league right now, and he's averaging 27 points the last 7 games, along with the defensive awareness. So Clippers, injuries, eliminate them right now. If bearing injuries, they could be a gauntlet in the West.
Yeah, good point, Wiz. That's the NBA report this week. We'll get an NBA analyst, an expert on here soon as we get into the thick of this NBA season that's happening right now. But right now, it's that time of the program, the first one of the new year. I'd love to do it every week. And as you know what it is, Wiz, sponsored by Skull Fuel Energy. Here we go. Yes or no? It's Nobody Beats the Wiz and Avery. There he is, the Lion, the Wiz. Let's put up the music. Let's get it started. You know how it goes. A few questions for the Wiz, yes or no, a couple of points, and the Wiz gives his opinion real fast. And here we go with the Wiz. Hey, do you hear the music in the background? Because it's not Nobody Beat the Wiz till I hear it.
I hear the music fine.
All right, I don't because I'm deaf. Anyway. Wiz, here you go. Yes or no? Daniel Jones, we talked about with the Giants. Is he their franchise quarterback now? into getting this team back in the playoffs if that's a year drought? Yes or no?
Right now, I believe that's their franchise quarterback. Daniel Jones will sign a multi-year deal with the Giants. I don't think anything drastically expensive, but I think it could work for both parties. Daniel Jones right now, a top 15, a top 14 quarterback in the NFL, because half of the league right now doesn't have a quarterback. That's what it seems like. So the Giants, they're in a good situation with Daniel Jones as he gets his first round of playoff experience.
And as we talked about the Jets, yes or no, eliminated after a good start and everybody's hopes up high that the Jets would end their postseason drought in the NFL. Despite it all, did the Jets, in your opinion, yes or no, have a successful season, or was it a failure? Yes or no?
Ooh, if I told you in the beginning of the year, throughout all this, it is a successful season, but the way things played out, I consider it a failure. You started 6-3, win 4 games out of your next 9, out of your next 8, win 4 games. You're in the playoffs. And like we said before with the Jets stats, 15 passing touchdowns from your quarterbacks, you don't deserve to play in January football. So overall, I think it was a failure of a season, but they're up on the rise for 2023, and that's what Jet fans want.
Yeah, but they need a quarterback, as we discussed earlier. They don't have a quarterback. Where are they going to get him? And it's not what they have now. That's not working out. Nobody beats the Rizz. Here we go. Yes or no, pitches and catches, believe it or not. 42 days till spring training, I believe. Right now, in your opinion, and a lot could change between now and then, what is the best division in baseball? Is it the National League East, in your opinion, with the Mets, Phillies, and the Braves? Yes or no?
Ooh, I believe it's the National League East for right now. Throughout the season, it could turn to the American League East. So I think it's for the Eastern divisions in baseball. It's just a matter on switch-ups. So right now, I'm going to go with the National League. But hey, in March, it could be the American League. Let's see what happens with trades, signings here and there. So it will switch here and there. It will alternate. But I'll go with NL East for now.
Yeah, it looks like with all the moves the teams made, free agent pickups, all 3 teams did what they had to do. And you just have to wait to see if Carlos Correa becomes official with the Mets.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The Nets, yes or no? We go NBA again with those Nets. Longest winning streak in the NBA right now. Are they, as we discussed moments ago, NBA title bound or in the finals? Yes or no?
When you have a team combined with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, the way Ben Simmons is playing right now, you got to count him in. That's the way it has to be. And for now, like I said, Celtics, you got Brooklyn and Milwaukee. Those are your top 3.
Nobody beat the Rizz continues. NFL again. Now Kenny Pickett, Pittsburgh, the Steelers quarterback, the young rookie, and Trevor Lawrence. Who is the better quarterback, in your opinion, right now? Who starts? Who's a better starter in the NFL? Pickett, Lawrence, or anyone else? Could it be Brady, the old-timers we discussed? Or is it Aaron Rodgers, as we discussed, the veterans?
Right now, I think it's Mahomes on his own tier winning MVP.
MVP, yes or no?
Yeah, Mahomes, I think, is winning MVP, sure in. And from here, from the guys you named, the young guys, I'd take Trevor Lawrence over Kenny Pickett, and Brady, Rodgers. That's a tough question because it alternates every week. But right now, I'll go with Brady. I'll go with Brady over Rodgers because the performance we saw last Sunday.
Nobody beats the Wiz, yes or no? Coming down the final stretch here, Wiz. Here you go. Now, everyone makes New Year's resolutions. I don't. I stopped that many years ago. Yes or no? Do you make them? And if so, do you keep them?
I try to make New Year's resolutions, and honestly, I don't fulfill them. But honestly, this past year, I was looking through my camera roll, and immediately my New Year's resolution, I solved it. I'm going to take more pictures of myself included wherever I am. If we're at the ballpark, if we're at anything out there, I'm going to take more pictures of myself.
You social media phenom. Oh my goodness!
I had like
just can't-
I had
I
like
can't
maybe
wait to see
10.
that
I had like maybe
in the
10
press
throughout
box.
the whole year.
everywhere.
Oh, not in the press box. Not in the press box.
Oh, okay. That's a whatever. Your social media phenom anyway. All right. Final question, yes or no, everybody beats the Wiz. And this comes up every new year at the beginning. And I get to wonder, when does it stop? Because how many days till you stop saying to everyone, or some people stop saying to you, Happy New Year? I mean, it can go on for a week, 2 weeks.
Yeah,
This was it
keep-
tonight. This was the end. Happy New Year. I don't say it no more to anyone, anywhere. I did it on social media. Yes or no? Is it too much Happy New Year after the 3rd?
I give it to like the 4th, honestly, but it matters the last time you saw somebody. But it's just like a habit. But honestly, after tomorrow, I won't be saying it.
Well, I'll say it one more final time to you. Happy New Year. All right?
Happy New Year.
Good. And we said that many times before. And for that ends Nobody Beats the Wiz for this week on Sports with Rizz live here on the SLG Network. Let's close it up. Avery, our producer. And till next week, it's Nobody Beats the Wiz. We'll yes or no him again. As always, good job, Wiz. When we come back, I'm going to take a little break. I'm going to come back and we're going to briefly, it's going to be the Wiz and I this week. We're going to do the NFL picks. I don't know why Avery doesn't want to take Avery's, he might be on a losing streak. That's what it is. But Avery's sitting it out. It's going to be me and the Wiz looking at NFL week number 18, the final week of the season, with the picks here on Sports with Rich. We'll do that after this brief break. Back with you on the other side live. This is Sports with Rich.
What's good, everybody? My name is Caleb from the Bayou City Boys over here on the SLG Network. Happy to announce that we are now working with Dano's Seasoning. So if you're anything like me, you meal prep all the time, Dano's is the way to go, man. They got multiple flavors. Hit them up. Be sure to use our code SLG Network. Appreciate every single one of y'all. Peace.
Spending money like it's nothing. I don't have a budget. Please don't get offended when you see the kids stunting. Got my queens with me, but it ain't no Scarborough bluffing. See, I'm riding solo while dependent bitches cuffing. I got all I need, me, myself, and I just love it. I've been gone.
All right, Wiz, and that's Wiz, Robert Rizzo, Rich Mancuso. Welcome in again. And we're coming down to the final ends of this program. First, we got to do the NFL weekly picks that I have not been a part of for weeks now. And the Wiz is going to lead me into it. I'll bring up the game, give a little bit my thoughts, do this as quickly as possible. And let's go to the first game. This is what, week 18, am I right, Wiz?
Week 18, the final week of the regular season. All 16 games played this week will have drastic playoff and draft implications. So if you're not paired to a couch watching TV on Sunday, on Saturday, you got something wrong.
Tell you the truth, you got to be footballed out by now between the college season, the bowl games, and all that stuff.
It's
anyway,
just starting up.
Let's look at this first game on the docket. I believe we got the Chiefs and the Raiders, right?
Yep, Kansas City.
The Raiders are ending up strong, but they're not going to be in the playoffs. But those Chiefs could have, the number one seed locked up in the AFC. And Patrick Mahomes keeps going his way to the MVP, as we discussed. Now, what's your pick? I don't doubt the Raiders' ability to fight in this game, but based on what they've been doing, they've been on this winning streak, but too late. But I would take the Chiefs. How you got it?
The Chiefs are opened up as 8-point favorites, total 52.5. I'm riding with Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes, the projected MVP. He's lost one game in the span of November and December for his career. So just like that, he proves it month in and month out that he's an MVP. So I'm riding with Kansas City for this one.
All right, Titans, Jaguars. And to me, the toss up here, who do you like?
Titans.
No, with Trevor Lawrence, if I had a bet on it, though, I wouldn't go against Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars. Who you got?
The Titans visiting Jacksonville. Jaguars are favored by 6.5, total 40.5. I'm going with Jacksonville and Trevor Lawrence. The winner of this clinches the AFC North and hosts a home playoff game. So just like that, it's a drastic game that kicks off 8:25 Saturday night.
And Sunday night, this game was flexed by NBC because the impact on this is who goes in and who not. The Packers win, they're in. The Lions win, they're in. So this is a key game in the NFC. Packers, Lions, and I'm not going against Aaron Rodgers as much as the Lions have been winning with Gerald Goff at the quarterback. I like the Packers and Aaron Rodgers to get in there and they sneak their way in.
I'm signing with the Packers and you with that one. Packers favored 4.5 with a total set at 49.5. Packers win and they're in. Lions have to win and hope Seattle loses to get into the playoffs. So just like that, that's a playoff game right there. So be slated to Red Zone on Sunday for that. And Sunday Night Football, that's the end of it right there. So you got to tune into that one. I'm riding Green Bay.
Now, Bengals, Ravens, and I don't know how ready the Bengals are going to be after what happened last night in Cincinnati. And you know, the Ravens are not the same without Lamar Jackson. The Bengals, of course, with Joe Burrow. And even though if it would happen, I'd still give the Bengals the game, but I just don't know how much they're going to be into it with the week they're going to have here.
No, and I totally agree with you. Vegas agrees with you right now. There's no line. So they're still determining all the odds, the up and ends for that. So there's no total, there's no spread. Bengals at Baltimore. This could decide the AFC North depending on what the NFL does with the playoff implications. We'll see how it goes. Burrow versus Lamar Jackson, most likely. We'll see. Lamar's been out for nearly a month, maybe even more. But I'm going to agree with you with this pick. I'm going to go Bengals money line. But I don't know what to expect out of them this Sunday.
All right, the Giants are in. The Eagles are in. The Eagles are going to no doubt be the top seed in the NFC. And it's interesting division, too, because the Giants and the Eagles and the Cowboys, 3 teams in the NFC East, are in the postseason. Now, the thing is, the Giants, they're playing now to just tune up for the playoffs. Will Daniel Jones start? That it's now about seeding and positioning, and the Eagles – all of a sudden, they need to win. They want to show something going into the postseason. I don't think the Giants down in Philadelphia will take this game. I like the Eagles.
I like the Eagles along with you. And 3 weeks ago, this game shouldn't have mattered for Philly. But now with all the losses, with Hurts going down, this matters a lot. 1 seed at up in there. And Giants are 14.5 point underdogs. Yeah. In Philly, the total set at 42.5. I'm riding with the over and Philly money line. I just don't like double-digit spreads. 14.5, too many points on the board. So I'm going to go with the over and Philadelphia to win outright.
The Jets will close their disappointing finish of the season down in Miami. The Dolphins, of course, need the win to get in the postseason. The Jets have nothing really to play for except pride right now. The Dolphins need the win. The Dolphins will win it down in Miami. Without Tua, the quarterback. That's a key for this team.
Right now, it's going to be Mike White versus Skylar Thompson, the 3rd-string quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. And right now, it's a toss-up. PK with a total set up at 38.5. Total's 38.5. So what's that? 20-17 type game, 20-18 type game. I'm going to ride with Jets money line. I think they'll win this game. They'll bounce back. And in Jets fashion, it's kind of like a punch in the chest to the fans.
Spoiler time for them. They'll be the spoilers.
It would be like a punch in the chest to the fans out there for the Jets because you win the one game where it doesn't matter. All this season, every game mattered except this one. And they're going to win it. So I'll ride with that. I'm going Jets money line.
Vikings, Bears. Team you root for the Bears. The Vikings, they've been the disappointing loss this past week. They'll rebound. Your Bears, a team you root for, the Bears, they have an awful hard time trying to get a win. They might score points here and there. Justin Fields has had a great season regardless of what's happened. He's become one of those young quarterbacks. He knows how to run the ball, and he's good at it. But the Vikings will win this one. I don't know what the line is you do, but I got the Vikings in going into the postseason with a win.
I totally agree with you. And to add to that, this is my lock of 2023. We're 3 days in. It's already a lock of the year for me. Vikings are 4-point favorites with a total set at 45.5 against the Bears. The Bears are vying for that number 1 draft pick. They don't want any part of this win for this game. If they win, they ruin themselves for the draft pick. They have to hope for a loss, for a win by Houston, and for them to lose. So just like that.
Tough. Yeah,
just
but
like
that's
that.
tough, though. That's really tough because you don't want to hear anything about tanking to get a draft pick. So that's tough.
Hey, ex the Jet fans, 2 years ago, they could have had Trevor Lawrence, but they played a meaningless Week 17 game.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So it's tough how these NFL games go, but
I know. And then you got the Commanders and the Cowboys. Cowboys already secured this. I don't know if they're going to be a 3 seed. Dallas is on a roll right now again, overcoming some injuries as well, this team. And that Washington team almost had it. They were almost in it. Cowboys win and end their season on a good note with their 13th win, which wouldn't be bad.
Wouldn't be bad whatsoever. 13 wins on a season, I'll take that out if I'm a fan. But Commanders at Cowboys, the total set at 41.5. Cowboys are 5-point favorites. Like you said, Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard, a lot of offensive weapons. This could be their 23rd regular season win in the last 2 seasons. Now it comes time for January football. Can Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott be that pair that sends Dallas Cowboy fans to the promised land? We don't know yet.
And we don't know where the Buffalo Bills stand. We don't
Not
know.
yet.
And we don't know where the Bengals stand, even though I have a game scheduled. But we don't know. That's to be determined by the NFL. Perhaps we'll have an answer by the end of the week. Are there any other games of interest to look at in the final week of the season in the NFL? Week 18.
Yeah. There's a few games to look at because of the playoff implications and scenarios, but overall, I go with Steelers-Browns because we mentioned Kenny Pickett here and there. I want to see more development out of Kenny Pickett, and if he could send Steelers to the playoffs as a rookie out of Ocean Township, New Jersey, you got to be rooting for the kid. So Steelers-Browns, I'll be tuned into that. And along with the picks, my favorite game on the board that we picked, I'm going with Bengals, Ravens, and Lions, Packers. Lions, Packers is definitely going to be a must-watch.
Well, that's a game on prime time Sunday night on NBC. And that's the one I'm going to be watching as well. All right, Wiz, great job with the picks. This was the final week of the picks. I want to thank you and Avery for doing a great job, and Jason Schott when he's been here filling in as well. And do you have a record? How do you stand? Did you keep track?
I didn't keep track overall. It's hard to keep track when we're doing it every week. But
I know.
But honestly, Jets and Giants, I feel like we made some profit because we've been betting them and they've been winning. So Giants in the playoffs, Jets at 8 wins, 7 wins on the season. That's profit right there.
Except the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, and these guys.
Against them every week. I told my Cardinals stuff in the garbage weeks ago, just to let you know.
On to next year.
But Avery kept his Green Bay Packers stuff. He never lost faith in that team.
1 win and they're in.
And we'll get Avery back on as we're going to wrap up the show after this brief timeout. Sports with Rich continues on the other side. Wrap it up with some odds and ends and some notes. Live on the SLG Network and YouTube and other social media platforms. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Rich Mancuso. That's the Wiz Robert Rizzo. Back into this brief time out, the final one of the night, and the final fact of the week, other part of that answer as well. Stay tuned.
Lock the door and keep your eyes shut. The lights flicker, there's evil all around us. No one's safe from the nightmare. Cold sweat, so scared. Someone get me
Oh, sponsored. I'm not drinking my sponsor's energy drink. Skull Fuel Energy is our newest sponsor here at Sports with Rich. More about it next week. I'll bring up the skull again. Cal will bring up that great logo of the skull. You're going to get your energy. This is the drink. Am I showing the drink? There we go. And there's the drink. I'm not drinking it. I haven't tried it yet because I'm not an energy drinker, but I'm hearing from people who do. They love it. And there's some coffee coming out. That I'm going to drink. They have
Definitely.
a coffee, too. We're going to get that soon. More about Skull Energy next week. You'll see more about them. Sponsor here of Sports with Rich, as well as on the SLG Network. All right, Wiz, let's wrap it up with some notes. Let's go to the NHL. Like, comment, and subscribe as always, my friends, and you can always comment. The NHL Winter Classic, Fenway Park yesterday. This is interesting every year. And Boston won it in their hometown, 2-1 win over Pittsburgh. The story here is not only the ambience of being in Fenway Park, which drew over 33,000 for an outdoor hockey game in mild temperatures. The Winter Classic has been played with temperatures that have been below zero. Wind chill, not yesterday. The Bruins have this home record of 19-0-3, undefeated. And they did it at the Winter Classic yesterday up in Beantown.
They're one of the hottest teams across the NHL. Bruins won 2-1 over the Pittsburgh Penguins. That could be a possible playoff matchup we see down the line. But overall in the season, 29-4 with 62 points. Obviously, that's first in the Eastern Conference. And overall, they're looking like that NHL team that could end up in May and June, the last team standing.
More NHL next week. Let's go to college hoops. And now we can talk college basketball more because we're in January now after the holidays, which means conference schedule play. The AP Top 25 comes out yesterday. UConn goes down a notch. They lost to Xavier. And Kansas, defending champ, they win over Oklahoma. Houston also down there. You see, the top 25 is really interesting, and it's a little different from years past, Wiz.
Yeah, it changes year by year. Gonzaga, Kansas is always in the mix. You see UCLA in the top 10. Right now, we had Purdue, Houston, Kansas, UConn, Arizona lining up the top 5, but there's so many sleepers in the 15 to 25 range. So right now, Auburn, Miami, UCLA, Virginia, I consider them all sleepers. There's 2 more months before the big dance of March Madness that we all know.
Ways
So
a
there's
lot
gonna
of play, a lot of games to go.
There's going to be a lot of changes throughout week by week for the AP Top 25.
And in the Atlantic 10 Conference in the New York area, it's Fordham that was undefeated up until last Thursday. We were there, Rose Hill up in the Bronx. They played Davidson, a rematch of their A10 quarterfinal game in Washington, D.C. last March where we were. Davidson just did it to Fordham. They showed they were the better team, much bigger, much stronger. Fordham was way off in that A10 conference. Their first A10 conference game, first loss, and broke an 11-game winning streak, which tied some records up there at Rose Hill for Fordham. Fordham now, we're going to see what good of a team they are in the Atlantic 10 because they had railed off 11 straight against non-conference opponents.
Their first loss at home this season against Davidson, a top superior opponent. They lost 57-43. And when you look at that score, it's 15 points. It seemed more than that throughout the whole game. Fordham fought back in the second half, but to start off, they were 0 for 25 from 3.
Yeah, so I couldn't believe that. What we saw.
When you're not knocking down 3-pointers and not getting to the free throw line at an efficient rate, that's a losing recipe right there. Tomorrow night, they open up against Rhode Island on the road with Keith Ergo, first-year head coach. Catch all our content, Latino Sports, New York Sports Day. Rich and I both wrote columns about their last game, and it's up from here for Fordham. Let's see what they're made of.
And as we were away during the last week, we lost icons, and not only in sports, but in entertainment and media, including the late Barbara Walters, who I once got to meet. And what a trailblazer she was. And this guy was a trailblazer for soccer for many years. And I covered him way early in my career when he was a New York Cosmo in the old National Soccer League, the NASL as it was called. Pelé passed away after a long illness. Thousands of his have attended his funeral at the Urbano Calderica Stadium in Brazil. Wearing his number 10 jersey is a fine tribute to great Pelé and what he did for soccer and World Cups and in the pitch, as they call it. Pelé did a lot for the sport and tried to get it going here in the United States. And at one point, way before you were born, Wiz, it was working. Cosmos didn't draw much. They used to play games at Randall's Island in the Bronx as their home turf. Pelé was there. Some at the old Shea Stadium in New York. And Pelé was a trailblazer at that time during that era.
We were all hit with the drastic news last Thursday that Pelé passed away at 82. And like you said, he wasn't just an icon for sports. He was an icon for all societies out there. He connected sports with art and entertainment. And many players posted about that on social media, sending tributes about Pelé. Neymar, another Brazilian native soccer legend, said number 10 is remembered for being Pelé. Number 10 and Pelé will always go together. And that was their their role model. Cristiano Ronaldo, Neymar, Messi, you name them. So for a guy like that to pass away, he lived a great life at 82. But overall, what a legend! Rest in peace.
I was fortunate to watch him play, watch him up front live. And soccer, to me, then I had no interest in as a rookie reporter back then, and I got to interview him. What a gentleman he was! He was ill. He got ill, and the last few years was kind of in the back. You really didn't know much about what was going on, but will always be remembered. What a legend, the great Pelé. Did you see this note about Pete Rose? Wiz?
Yeah, I saw it.
Now, of course, he was banned from baseball for gambling on his own team, and now we still wait when he could get Hall of Fame, if that will ever happen. And the Hall of Fame vote will come out next week. We'll know who the newest members are for the 2023 class. The first legal sports bet at the Hard Rock Casino, betting is gambling sports betting in Ohio. And he was the first one to do that, to make that first legal sports bet in Ohio. How ironic is that?
Do you know the bet he put in?
No. Do you?
Yes, it came out. Pete Rose's first bet for Ohio getting legalized, last Friday? His first bet was the Reds to win the World Series.
Are you kidding me?
That was it.
and that's where he got banned, because he bet against his own team.
Yeah. He bet the Reds to win the World Series.
You got me on that one, but Pete Rose is always in the news. I just hope he gets his day and they put him in the Hall of Fame before it's too late. He deserves it. No matter what he did off the field, I don't care. What he did on the field is another story. He belongs in there. I keep saying that. And the biggest news of the tennis world, who I watched her many times at the U.S. Open in New York. And great to cover. Martina Navratilova diagnosed yesterday. She made the announcement. Throat cancer, 18-time Grand Slam winner in the world of tennis, and Martina Navratilova. All our best to her, and hope she pulls through with this. Great tennis player, another trailblazer for female sports and in women's tennis. And she made that announcement yesterday. All our best wishes to Martina Navratilova. She was, again, I think before your time, wasn't she?
Yeah, I believe so. And if not, I wasn't tuned into tennis to begin with. So
yeah. Well, she was one of those trailblazers that I always talk about. And then, of course, you notice my different look, Wiz?
I noticed it.
And what is it?
New haircut.
Well, if you call it a haircut, this is the guy who does it. Let's take a look. Razor sharp.
Final cut of the year. Hey, Razor sharp. There he is. Happy New Year, everyone. Keep it in the ring, Sportsman Rizz.
You see, even when I'm getting the whatever here I have left cut, I got to say keep it in the ring.
You got to.
Razor sharp.
Shout out to Rob. I was going to say shout out to Rob. Great barber. I got the chance of meeting him last July at the Abella boxing show. Hope he's watching now. Happy holidays, Rob. See you soon.
He had a good holiday. I know he did. And it
Definitely.
culminated with the New Year haircut for New Year's Eve. Whatever I got left. He does a great job. Not that it's difficult to cut my hair. It really isn't because I don't have much. Razor sharp, and we'll talk more about him in the weeks to come because he might be sponsoring the show as well. We are sponsored by one of our great new sponsors, Skull Fuel Energy. And let's put the skull up one more time. And all your energy needs, you feel better, much more. We'll know more and more about the skull. Next week, we'll talk more about it. I think you'll start to see the video, what this is about. And coffee, many flavored coffees are part of this energy line. We thank them again. Skull Fuel Energy coming your way. Talk more next week about it. And now let's wrap up. And we got to get Avery in one more time. Fact of the week. We did get part of it. I made it now into a two-parter because it was so easy the first time. About the Browns. Never, he got it right away. No hesitation. Fact, not trivia. Never played in the Super Bowl in their franchise. And now I extended it. And I want to know now, the fact is, when did the Cleveland Browns become a franchise in the NFL? It wasn't the NFL at the time, to give you a hint. It used to be the AFL. What year?
So we're pre-merger. So we're looking like 1940s. Like no, I'm serious.
Then I'll just shoot one. 1948.
All right, would you say 1948, Avery? What do you say?
It's hard. I want to go later in the decade because that was right around the time when World War II was going on, and the U.S. probably wasn't doing anything sports related until at least 44. So I'm gonna go like 46.
All right, I got to tell you both wrong with the year, even though you got the team with the original question. 1950, guys.
All right, we were close.
You were close, yeah.
Only 2 years off.
You were 2 years off, and that should have been the original question for the fact of the week. I gave you a break this week, so I made it. But no one got it in the cube. Nobody answered. You guys got one part of it, but not the second part, which wasn't supposed to be. Next week, count on this, guys. It will be very difficult next week. All right? I got bobbleheads to give away here. And Calvin, if you're watching, and I know you are, you will get that Average bobblehead we'll get it to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Even though he will not be a Milwaukee Brewer. Even though you're Milwaukee Brewers, I have no idea what they're doing over there in Wisconsin. Good luck to the Green Bay Packers, though. To you, Avery, and to Cal. I think the Packers and Aaron Rodgers are going to get in this weekend, Sunday night. So, and as always, Avery, thanks again, my friend. Great job.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Thank you. We'll talk next week.
Thank you, Avery.
Keep it in the ring. And Wiz, that ends it this week. We went over the 10 p.m. hour. We always go over. And next week we'll have more on the program and a lot of surprises, in fact. Keep in touch with us on social media. You'll know more. Here on the SLG Network, like, comment, and subscribe. My channel on YouTube, Rich Mancuso, or our social media handles. Scroll at the bottom of the screen again. It's Rich Mancuso. Twitter, Ring786. Facebook.com, Rich Mancuso. Read my content on LatinoSports.com and NewYorkSportsDay.com. We'll have an announcement about Latino sports as well with the Wiz and I next week. Make it official. And Wiz, where did they get you again, my friend? My young protege, Happy New Year again, last time.
Happy New Year. First off, follow me on Twitter, RobertRizz994, Instagram, RRizzo4, Facebook, Robert Rizzo, and catch all my daily content on Latino sports.
Great job as always. Thank you for all your support, everyone out there, for listening, for watching. We'll be back with you again next week, 8 p.m. live Eastern here on the SLG Network. Thank you again, Ray, for giving us some more wrestling insights as part of keeping the ring. And did I miss anyone, Wiz, or did I get everybody in?
I think you got everybody in.
Yeah, it did. It was a great 2 hours or more tonight. A little bit of everything as we started the new year off with a bang, as they say, here on the SLG Network of Sport with Sports with Rich. Until next week, everyone, remember what I always tell you. Be safe, stay well, enjoy the new year with a lot of health and happiness. And our prayers and thoughts again in with the tragedy that happened last night with well, not really a tragedy yet, but an unfortunate thing, and we wish our prayers are with him, Damar Hamlin of the Buffalo Bills, and he'll be in our thoughts and prayers every day. We hope for good news on that soon. So, Wiz, thanks again, my friend. See you next week. Actually, I'll
See you next week.
I'll see you sooner. Not till next week. I'll see you sooner. But to all of you, as always, as I always say again, stay well. Be safe. God bless you all. And as always, Wiz, what do we say?
Keep it in the ring.
Keep it in the ring, everyone. Thank you again. See you next week here at Sports with Rizz.